Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back. So we're going a little live early today because I have an engagement that I need to attend to in a little bit. So I figured I might as well get this done now and instead of trying to go at like 11 o'clock doing a live stream. Okay, so what we happened today? Well, miners did really well. Bitfarms Cipher were on fire today. IREN was on fire also. Even Mara, Hut 8, all of these guys were doing really well today. All the other miners did pretty good also, up a little percentage points, which is nice. Bitcoin was up a little bit, not too much, but that's okay. Right, these things are pumping on AI right now, which is fine. So we do have some bullish stories on Bitcoin. We do have some bullish stories on AI as well. I'll give you guys my thoughts on all that. We'll take a look at obviously what the miners did, what Bitcoin did today, and we'll get into Q&A, and we'll call it a day. All right, so let's get into it here. Not financial advice as always. You guys know the drill. For entertainment only, do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. And let's take a look at what happened here with Bitcoin today. If my thing loads properly, and let's get into it here. All right, so Bitcoin today, up just a little bit. Teeny weeny bit, 0.18% here, but the miners, like I said, had a fantastic day. Markets did really good today. Dow Jones was up nicely, so was NASDAQ. S&P was up nicely as well. Russell was up 2.78% there. Ethereum had a pretty good day today also, was up 2.13% here. But the big story is the miners. Bitfarms taking charge here. It was up 28.33%, up a little higher than that. This thing has reached new 52-week high, or probably even high. Well, probably not the highest ever, but it is obviously a 52-week high for them, which is nice on that one. So that one had a fantastic day. BitD also had a great day, up 15.02% here today. Kango was up just a little bit, 1.62%. Cipher also had a really good day, up 19.86%. These guys are still pumping after hours right now. Cleanspark was up just a little bit after being down a little bit, but it ended up in the green here at 3.94% there. CORZ was up 3.73%. Hive was up 2.27%. Hut 8 was up nicely as well, 12.72%. IREN was also up nicely, 7.31. It was up close to like 12%, 13% one point during the day. Came back down a little bit here. Mara was up nice as well, 8.53%. Riot was up 3.28%, and Wolf was up 3.63%. The Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Bitcoin treasury companies were very mixed today. MicroStrategy was up 3.5%. Galaxy was up down 6.94%. This is Black. Block was up a little bit, 0.47. Coin was down just a little bit, 0.01. Metaplan was down 1.79. Exodus was up just a little bit, 0.49. This one's Nexon. Nexon was down 0.85. Similar was down 1.7. Phoenix was down 8.9. And GameStop was up 1.24%. Small miners today had mostly in the green here. Any being up 3.3. Argo being up 12.6. DigiPower was up 6.23. DMG was actually down 0.33. Mawson was up 10%, and then Canon today was rocketing. That thing was up 39.45% here. I don't think there's any news on that one. I didn't check. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Canon shares jumped 40% as miners turn flared gas into powered amid Bitcoin to AI infrastructure boom. Okay, so that was from the block here, looks like. Canon has maintained a buy. This was 5 hours by Rosenblatt. Let's see, launch on gas to compute pilot in Canada. Okay, so that's what's launched in that one there. So great to see that. The ETFs today also had a really good day. BitQ was up 4.12%. BKCH was up 7.36%. DAP was up 5.36%. WGMI was up another 9.97% today after we had that crash on Friday here. And then the Ethereum holding companies, BMNR was up 8.35%. BitDigital was up 6.38%. BTCS was up just a little bit, 0.1%. Game was up 0.71, and SBET was up 5.32. You can see all these guys. These guys have all been kind of flat, more or less, you could say. Right, except for maybe BitDigital here was on a nice little rally here, but it got cooled off last week. BMNR still kind of flat, more or less, range bound a little bit on those. Who else do we track here? ABTC was up 1.34%. Wi-Fi, which is BitDigital's sister company there, was up nicely today, 8.47%. Open was actually down 3.96%. Oracle was up 5.14%. Nibius was up 4.54%. Soluna here was down again, 6.22%. Backed was up 14.48%. And Fermi was up just a little bit, 3.2% on the day there. So overall, really good day in the markets. Nice rebound from what we had on Friday here. In the after hours right now, you can see BitDeer's up just a little bit, 0.68%. Bitfarms here, let's see where that one's at right now. It was at like 9% at one point. Now it's at 7.79% in the after hours. Cipher is up 7.67%. Cleanspark here is up a little bit, 1.25%. CORZ Scientific is up 1.46%. Hive is up right now just a little bit as well, 0.74%. Hut 8 is up 0.29. IREN is up, let's see where this one ends up at, 2.15% it looks like. Mara is up 0.74%. Riot is actually now up still 0.14%. TeraWolf, let's see where that one ends up at 1.64% in the plus side. And Soluna is right now up 1.72%. Okay, so good start so far to the next day. Bitcoin here for the month of October right now. Let's see where that one ends up at being up here. We'll refresh this really quick. It's up 1.41%. Okay, so still below where we were in September. We got basically 2 weeks left to go roughly in October. We'll see where we end up at if October ends up being an Uptober or Downtober on that one. So we'll see on that. Bitcoin ETF inflows wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be on Friday. Got the data on it today. So BlackRock, IBIT bought in 74.2 million. We were only down 4.5 million in Bitcoin inflows for ETFs. That's actually pretty good, all things considered. Right? It was definitely a pretty bad day in the crypto market, and markets in general on Friday. But what we're seeing here was most of the leverage plays on altcoins, things like that. Those things got decimated, got pulverized, a lot of those things, and a lot of leverage there. So obviously we're not seeing leverage here from the ETFs. So that actually bodes pretty well here. Today we're down 145 million. We'll see where we end up with BlackRock here, if they bought in today or not on that one, and we'll obviously find out that later on. FedWatch tool still looking at 98.9% of rate cuts happening this month here in October. That's a good sign for us. That should give us more oomph going forward as well. And then onto the good stories that we do have here for Bitcoin and the AI data center plays. We got this just in. 200 billion Binance just said they are helping multiple countries to buy Bitcoin for their reserves. Sovereign wealth funds buying BTC, not priced in. Yeah, it's not quite priced in yet. If they do start buying, they're going to be buying up a lot. That's the way we're going to get to probably 150,000, and I'm guessing 180,000 sometime by the end of this year, potentially, if they do start going in heavy here. Next here, we have 4 trillion JP Morgan just confirmed live on CNBC that they will provide Bitcoin and crypto services. Here we go. So basically, you're going to be able to, I believe, trade crypto, Bitcoin, and others as well. More adoption. That's a great thing to see. Love seeing that. We're obviously seeing a lot of adoption happening this year. And then this is also breaking here. 2 trillion, Europe's largest asset manager, Amundi, to launch Bitcoin ETFs. It's happening. So obviously that's going to be, obviously more people getting into it in Europe, which is nice as well. And then finally we got here, just in Bitcoin miner Mara just bought 400 BTC worth 46 million. They now hold 53,250 Bitcoin worth 6 billion here, which is kind of, it's cool, and at the same time kind of strange there because they did sell like 300 some odd Bitcoin in September, I believe. So they basically bought it back at maybe a lower price. I'm not sure, but they bought in. I'm not sure where they're getting that information from, but we'll go with it. And then this is from Matthew Siegel here. Morgan Stanley, this is for AI data centers. We continue to believe that Bitcoin sites offer AI players the fastest time to power with the lowest execution risk, and believe this will increasingly be valued, recognized. Morgan Stanley analyst raises their per watt value creation estimates after meeting management teams. So this is huge here, obviously, higher than our prior indicative range, so $8.50 per megawatt. We also provide key takeaways from recent meetings with Bitcoin management teams here. So obviously this is a nice boom here. This is probably where we're seeing, obviously, miners with AI potential continue to run here, which is nice. Then we have this also from Matthew Siegel here, Goldman Sachs. We raised our capacity estimates needed to support the increased load growth from data centers. We now assume 82 gigawatts of overall capacity needed to meet data center demand from 72 gigawatts. So that's an increase of 10 gigawatts. This assumes 60% of data centers demand requires new capacity versus existing supply, right? With the new chips and everything else that you're getting from NVIDIA, where they're direct-to-chip cooling, those are different types of data centers that need to be built out, basically, or a lot of the stuff's going to be retrofitted here. So that is going to be happening here as well. More demand than what was originally thought. This bodes well for IREN, Cipher, Cleanspark, Riot, TeraWolf, everybody, Bitfarms, right? Anybody that's in that space right now, this all is great news for them going forward here. And then lastly on Cipher here we have, they have a new price target for them. So Cipher is preparing to blast off $42 price target. This is from REIT Research, right? Cipher Mining owning the pipeline here. So key insights, Cipher sold off technical trading mainly related to a large convertible issue on an announcement of its Fluid Stack Google deal. Even if this was its proof of concept, now modeling Cipher achieving 2.5 gigawatt power, active power for HPC by 35 35E, not sure what that is. Based on known sites in its pipeline, positive extension from its mining conversion. Also, mining Cipher entering GPU leasing to make use of 56 megawatts of remaining gross power at Barber Lake Phase 1. Management is undecided for now, but is evaluating, which is true. And financing shift from JV, Fortress model, to full ownership with 1.3 billion convertible, then construction debt, which likely gets refied, progressively lower debt cost. Raise price target to $42 rated by, given 234% implied upside here. So that's awesome news there. If you guys own Cipher, this is obviously great news for us here right now as it is. And that's basically all I have for you guys right now. We don't have any more minor updates as far as production is concerned for September. We're still waiting on Bitdeer and Kango to report. Everybody else has reported here. We'll give them obviously maybe a couple more days here. I mean, we're already in 13 days into the month and they haven't reported yet. If they haven't reported by now, I'm starting to wonder if they will report. Right, we'll see. We'll find out. We know that Kango doesn't really have much more growth here. They're at 50 exahash, so maybe that's why they're not reporting. I'm not sure. Bitdeer obviously has a lot more growth here. Maybe they're just busy executing on everything and they haven't reported yet. I don't know. But we're obviously going to keep track of it, see if they do report here. If they don't report within the next couple of days, I'll give them to the 15th, I guess. If they don't report by then, we'll start looking at all the miners. How do they do in September against each other? Go over some metrics, some other things that we look at, and we'll call it a day at that point. But that is it. So let's get into Q&A here while I still have time, and then we'll skedaddle out of here. So great day today. Let's get into Q&A. As always, if you guys could preface the questions with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it as always. And I'm going to scroll my way up as always and scroll my way down through all the questions. So we will get through all of them. I'm going to try to go through them relatively quickly here because my time is a little bit limited today, so I do apologize in that. All right, SK asks, when will you start trimming your Cipher position? I replied to him already that much further down the road here. What else do we have here? Okay, guys, got a question here. Will Cleanspark top out around 21, 22, or there is upside for Cleanspark around 30? There is upside for Cleanspark to 30. Mike Alfred seems to think that they could be going to $60, $80, somewhere around there. Around what price do you plan on starting trimming Cleanspark this year or in 2026? That would be probably right around there, probably around $50, $60 is where I'm going to start looking. But we need, obviously, some more information from them as far as their ambitions for HPC-AI, right? What are they going to be doing? Are they going to be going NeoCloud or are they going to be going colocation? What is the plan there? We need some more information from them. All right. Let's see. All right. Chuck says, Cleanspark finished strong today. It is up after hours. I think Cleanspark has the potential to go into the 40s, maybe the 50s soon. That'd be awesome. All right, guy says today Cleanspark was not strong like other miners. No, but it has had a nice run here. A little bit of correction maybe happening there, but it was up nonetheless. All right, Javen, question. When do you think IREN will get a massive investment deal like they did for OpenAI and AMD? As we saw latest time, IREN had been seen on the key deals 2020. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to get anything like that. OpenAI is obviously an AI software company, and obviously they're going into data centers because they need the data centers, but they're a software company for AI. It's a different deal. They also have a lot more capital in them that's being raised for them. I mean, they're valued at what, like 500 billion right now as it is, whereas IREN is valued at right now, I think as of today, like 16 some billion, right? So I'm not expecting any kind of deal like that with AMD, but I could be surprised if that does actually come to fruition. Right, because we have been seeing, obviously, IREN build out its own AI cloud for customers, which has obviously been why the stock has been running really nicely here. So we will see on that one. All right. Okay. Kaz says, hi, Seb. What a good time to be holding Bitfarms. Yeah, it is a good time. It's a nice trend. Well, it's definitely rebounding nicely from where it was, right? Everybody was obviously upset with Bitfarms being below $1 here not too long ago. People were, saying that Ben should be replaced as a CEO there. And at that time, I did say, give him time. He's only been the CEO for a year. I thought he was doing all the right things, moving into the United States more so, converting into HPC-AI more as well. I thought that was good. So the stock is definitely getting re-rated on that and the potential that they have, which is nice to see. All right, Smitty says this is a much better time. It is, definitely feels great. SK, do you think Hive will go above $10? Hive, yeah, I mean, it's getting close to it. I mean, it's not too far away right now as it is. It's at $6.76. So another, 50% increase would get us to around $10. So I think that is definitely doable there. Ryan, thank you so much for the smash the like, folks. SK, any major corrections do you foresee in miners? Are they running for a long time now? Hope it doesn't. I mean, corrections, we'll get corrections because the market corrects, they'll correct a little bit as well. But I'm not expecting like huge corrections, like 50, 60% down corrections. I'm expecting kind of what we saw. I mean, even Friday, they did pretty well, all things considered. So if we just stay like that, things will be good. But they do obviously have more potential in the long term. And they're not really, they're kind of decoupling from Bitcoin here right now as it is. I mean, Bitcoin was down just up a little bit, and you saw what the miners were doing today, right? So yeah, I would love to see that, and it might actually play out that way. All right, R2509, love to see this recovery today. Are you still not tempted to take profits, especially with Cipher and Bitfarms? I'll be honest with you guys, I am tempted to take profits, but like I said before, I don't need the cash right now. I'm not in any pinch. My family's fed. They have a roof over their head. They're able to eat. And they're, power. We got everything that we need. So right now, I'm just going to let it run. This could be a once in a generation type of play here with these AI plays. Kind of like if you got into Amazon or Google or Apple or Microsoft, any of those guys, and held on for a number of years, you probably would have done really, really well. I'm not saying we're going to hold on to them for many years here, but I want to hold on to them for a little bit longer to see where they run, especially with all the demand that we're seeing here for AI. One thing that I noticed here recently, I don't know if you guys noticed it as well, is on Google, the image generation within the last, I would say probably a week to 2 weeks, has gotten a little worse. Quality is fine, but I'm just saying in general how long it takes to generate an image for them, along with the size of the image has shrunken down here, which leads me to believe that they are throttling the AI experience to some users, even the ones that are paying, which I am paying. I think they're throttling it down a little bit because they are just seeing huge demand for it and they just can't keep up with it all. Whereas what we've seen with Grok here, I mean, you give it an image or you give it a prompt to create an image or something like that, and it spits out like 12 images within a couple seconds here. So Grok obviously has a lot more GPUs, I think, available to them right now. Potentially, maybe they don't have the user base that Google does. That could also be part of it also. But I'm just seeing with Google, it has been kind of been throttled down a little bit. And hopefully they can get rectified here shortly. So that leads me to believe that we're still very early in that, right? So that's one data point, but it's still a data point. All right, SK, will you still look to trim your Bitfarms position by $8? No, I may let it run a little bit more. Right, like I said, all this stuff is running here. We could be running for the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months. We don't know. So we're going to keep an eye on everything. I keep an eye on things pretty close during the day. And if we see anything that's of concern, we'll definitely reevaluate at that point and sell at that point, right? If you guys remember going back just a couple months back when IREN was going to report their quarterly results, I said at that time I was tempted to sell, take a little bit of a position off there because, we didn't know what was going to be in the press release. But I just started looking more on the research on side of things of IREN, and I just said at that point, I'm just going to hold on. Let's see where this thing goes because there's a lot of good stuff happening here, not only for them, but in the space in general. And luckily that was the right call to do it. And it's obviously gone up huge ever since then. So you got to be, obviously we're not going to be able to guess the top perfectly. I know I'm not going to be able to do that. If I'm within 20% of the top, I'm fine with that, okay? Even maybe it's a 25 or 50, 25 to 30%, I'd be fine with that from the top. But yeah. All right, David, do you think BitDigital is still undervalued? What is your price target here for BitDigital? I mean, BitDigital is now an Ethereum treasury company. So they don't, I think they got rid of all their Bitcoin mining side of things. They also spun out their data center play, which is now White Fiber. So they still own, what is it, 80% of it, 77%, 80% of it. So there's still some value of that. We're obviously seeing White Fiber go up, so we're also seeing BitDigital go up on that. But on the Ethereum side of things, how much of a premium should they get on it? I think they should at least have at least 1 to like maybe 1.1 MNEV premium on it. That's about it, but that's just me. So I really don't know as far as where this should go in price. Steve, yo, Sebastian, thanks. Always excited to catch your videos and live stream a bonus. So helpful to us. I greatly appreciate that, and thank you for that. All right, R2519, Cleanspark $24 till they can dilute again. Do you think this will stop the stock breaking through unless some major news? I imagine a lot of sell pressure 20 to 24. Yeah, there is some going to be sell pressure around 24 because of the convertible notes there. But again, we saw that, well, I think some news will help, right? So if they do provide some news on their AI plans, that'll be good. That'll probably push the stock beyond that. But we've also seen it for IREN. IREN had the same kind of thing where they had convertible notes and they had dilution at certain points, but the stock blew past that with good news. So I think it's still going to be possible here for Cleanspark as well. All right, Kaz, question. Ben has been very active on X these days. Good sign? Yeah, I think he's happy, right? The stock is definitely getting revalued. His shares that he bought back when they were $1 or something are worth a heck of a lot more now as well. So I think he's just happy that the company's finally getting re-rated and rated more closely to where it should be. And then possibly with Riot being off their backs as well. He's just, the stress is off. The shoulders are a little bit more so. So I think he's able to be a little bit more out there, be a little bit more engaging, and having a little bit more fun, which is great to see. All right, at SK, I see Bitfarms going much higher. Would let it ride some more there. Okay, all right. Kind of my sentiments there as well. Casa's SK, same. I wouldn't even think of taking profits until $10. Okay, wow, you guys are getting very bullish there. That's awesome. SK, question: do you think rotation will happen from IREN to Cipher to Bitfarms to Cleanspark? You mean like a rotation out of those guys? No, I think people are trying to rotate into them. Take profits from something else and buy into these guys because these guys have been running here. So I think that's what's happening. Could people try to rotate some profits from IREN and like into BitDeer or Bitfarms even? Yeah, that could be happening here as well. All right. Capris, Cleanspark should get news about HPCI while the market is hot. I agree with you there, right? Communication is important. Chillaxing, I thought Hive, Cleanspark, and Riot underperformed compared to the others today. Yeah, they were a little lackluster today, but still up. Green is green, right? We'll take it. Because if Cleanspark is smart about it, they should make a move now when the iron is hot. Yep, I would agree with you there as well. Capper says, I'm just so baffled about Cleanspark considering they were the #1 miner of 2024. Now in 2025, they're inexplicable FUD about them just because they haven't pivoted to HPCI. Well, they are now, right? I'm seeing a heck of a lot more posts on X right now about Cleanspark and their path forward, how much they can grow and all that stuff. So it's becoming a more bullish story around them as we're watching it kind of play out right now. So that leads me to think that something will be happening there. Chris King, Cleanspark will pivot and look good for 100 plus. Okay, you guys are getting more bullish than I am there, but AI is obviously feeling a lot of this demand here. My original targets for Cleanspark with Bitcoin going to like 200 some thousand was around $60 to $70, and you guys are blowing past my targets now with it, which is great. All right, Chuck, they have moved up the last 2 weeks due to them hinting of HPCI move. They will make a run up in share price when HPCI is confirmed, just like IREN did. I would expect the same thing, yes. All right, Kevin, has he talked about the crazy Bitfarms move? Yes, I talked about that one already in the beginning of the show there. Guy, do you think we can hear anything about HPCI from Cleanspark this year so the stock pumps not only in news but practically? Yeah, I do think we will hear something. Right, you saw Matthew Schultz there last week in Texas, stating that he loves Texas. I did post a question to him on that. Does Cleanspark love Texas? Didn't hear back. So, they might be looking to buy some sites in Texas there. We'll see if that comes out. If that comes out, depending on how many megawatts you're going to be getting and all that stuff, there's something there, right? They also have like 1.5, 1.6 billion in Bitcoin that they're holding right now that they could take advantage of. Pay for GPUs, pay for sites. They have optionality here as well. All right. See, because they have moved up and comparing with other miners who are making moves, they are definitely lagging. I guess you're talking about Cleanspark there potentially. That's market stats. Good evening, Seb and miner family. My limit order buy, aka selling a pot was triggered. A put was triggered on open Friday. I was assigned 300 shares for $6.97 a share. Triggered on. Oh, okay, so you got open. Okay. Awesome there, Chuck. Cleanspark news is coming, just a hunch but the CEO has been everywhere promoting the company. Strike a deal or buy a site and it pops hard just like IREN. Yeah, I would agree there as well. IREN should have a big customer or two. Think it's priced in or could still climb on until then. Depending on a customer, right? Are they talking about a customer for co-location or a customer for their own cloud services there? I think I would rather have them do more cloud services. SX question: Hive has been rocketing lately. Will this continue in your opinion? Finally, is the green after years of being nervous? Finally in the green after years of being nervous or being down. But yeah, I mean, we're all in the same boat here for the most part, unless you got into these guys recently here where they bottomed out in April, but most of us have been around for at least a year, 2 or 3 years even. So we've been through this ride before, and we're definitely enjoying it right now. So when will this continue? I think it will continue here, right? All right, what else we got here? Sour Melon says, way too early to take profits up. I agree there. I'm with you. We're of the same opinion there. Chris, do you believe this AI run could last several years? Mike Alfred seems very confident. Yeah, you know, there's a lot that needs to be built out. So it's going to take a couple years to get it all built out. And the early movers, the miners obviously have a lot of megawatts already as it is available for this stuff. So they could benefit tremendously from it. We'll have to wait and see. My thinking right now is, if we double at least from where we are right now, go 2x on everything from where we are right now, I'll probably take 50 to 70% off the table and let the rest run for the next couple of years. We'll see where we go from there. At that point, I'll be good. All right, Mark Suave 25 question. This reminds me of the saying, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Do you think Cleanspark needs to do HPC just to keep up with IREN? Yes, they do. Yeah. All right. Mark says, I hope Cleanspark doesn't F it up. They have IREN-like potential. They do. I would say it's a little bit lesser than IREN. IREN has more megawatts currently, but that can change if Cleanspark goes on a buying spree, right? So anything is possible. All right. Karan, what do you think of price prediction for Bitfarms? I think somewhere between $8 to $10 here in the next couple months we could see it. I mean, heck, we could even see it in a couple of weeks. Who knows the way that this thing is running, but that's kind of where I would like to see it, at least right now. All right, Chillaxing, I sold all my quantum computing stocks because it seemed overpriced and I was looking to take advantage of October. Now I don't know if that was the right move. Yeah, I've been also looking at quantum stocks as well. Been doing a little bit of research into those things. I've been seeing those things run up quite high. So right now I'm just going to be holding probably onto what I have and just waiting to see where they go. All right. Karan says, I have, what is that? How many zeros is that? 1, 2, 3. You got 700,000 shares stock at $1.54. Can you suggest when I can sell? Oh, gosh, that is completely up to you. I mean, you're up nicely now. That is completely up to you. Congratulations to you there. That is awesome. Awesome price there. And awesome number of shares there. Or is it 700,000 in stock value, or do you have 700,000 shares? If you have 700,000 shares, you don't need to be asking me questions at that point. I mean, you can do whatever the heck you want. You got pretty close to having FU money at that point. If the stock's at $20 at 7, you got what, 14 million there? Is my math correct? If that was the case, yeah. Christopher Cipher looking to vote again to increase common stock as a retail investor. I'm okay if cash going to build out. Yeah, I am too. Right? If you're getting something for it, then yes, I'm okay with that as well on the dilution side of things. Neville, if you sell Bitfarms Cipher or IREN, you are guaranteed to buy back at a higher price. Not financial advice. I've been hearing that also quite a bit. Gary, how much higher do you think Cleanspark can go without announcing anything concrete? They have surprised me how much they have moved last 2 months on hype and saying correct things, but need something new. I would agree with you there. I think we can maybe get to like $23, $25 before we need something to push it over that and keep it there. That's kind of where I'm thinking. There's at $24, there's going to be some dilution happening here. I think at that point, they need to come out with some kind of good news as well. All right, Neville, I appreciate Ben being vocal on X, but he has to stay away from politics. Did he get into politics? Yeah, I would agree with you there. Stay away from politics, right? Because then your shareholders, you have shareholders that are Democrats, Republican, whatnot. Yeah, you don't want to ostracize one camp for another for no reason, right? So you kind of want to be apolitical there as much as possible. I would agree with you there. MP, why Riot keeps selling BTCs and how high will Riot go this bull run? Riot is going to, I mean, they get a deal for HPCI, for co-location, whatever it might be. The stock is going to run higher at that point as well. They do have quite a bit of megawatts, 1.7, 1.8 gigawatts, I think, total. So they do have the potential there for it. It's just, can they execute on it? Can they, get somebody in there? And it goes for all these guys here as well. Mark, miners have a tiny market cap and AI is bigger than internet. We have no idea how far they can run. They have the best AI potential right now. I agree with you there as well. Yeah. All right. Elizabeth says, thanks for the show. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. Mark says AI. Yes, I figured that. B, question. Do you think we'll hear something from Bitfarms on HBCI contract? I would hate to lose this momentum. Right now, they're building out, what is it? Gosh, what's it? Oh, I got too many site names in my head right now. Oh, you guys know what site they're building out in Pennsylvania. I'm trying to blank on it right now. But they're building that out. They got the $300 million in to be used as project financing, which is good. So they're building towards that. And then if they build out a nice site or something like that, they probably will get some kind of deal, or they might have somebody already lined up for it. And I apologize for my kids running upstairs. You can hear it all, but they're having fun there, which is nice. MJS, what's going on with Bitfarms rocket ship? Well, like I just talked about, right? 300 million turned into project financing. That's helping the stock there. They're going to be building out the site. Again, I'm trying to blank on the site name right now in Pennsylvania. Yeah, you know the site. All right, Sadie asks, how many likes is too many likes? I don't think there is an answer for that one. Bitfarms, thank you so much for the likes though, Sadie. Mohammed, Bitfarms is a good buy right now, in my opinion. Is right now I think it is still. I think there's still potential for that one, right? Dollar cost average in if you can, not financial advice as always. Gary, which miner do you think will have the biggest news on earnings? My guess is IREN. What is yours? Yeah, IREN. I'm going with you on that one, IREN. Cleanspark might come in second to that. Maybe. We'll see. We've been hoping that for the last, 2-3 quarters. DRV come early every day. Not this early. Usually we're around 9:30, 10 o'clock. So that's kind of when I usually go live. Ryan Buell, who will be the EPS king through the bear market? What bear market? Will there be a bear market on it? We'll see. MJS, it's all about available power. Yes. Yep. Who's got the power? Who can connect to it relatively quickly here? Victor C. Question, is Hive undervalued? It still is, in my opinion. Yes. Chris King, Hive usually sells off around this time. Hoping this time is different. Feeling good about it. Okay. Yeah. It's a different narrative altogether right now. DFly, IREN is by far the best chance of actually being the leader in the space, so most will rotate into this more, but I do think if Cipher announces a deal, money might rotate from retail to Cleanspark, okay? Cleanspark is playing the long game in HPC. A lot of these guys are. S-Hex, question, do you think Argo will survive? Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm surprised it has survived this long, to be honest with you guys. I thought this thing would be belly up by now. It's scraping out of that grave. It's trying to get out. I don't know. We'll see. All right. CJ, Seb, you do such a great job with all the videos. Thank you so much. Oh, great. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. Josh says, I see you. Hi, Seb. Do you think Bitfarms will catch up and pass Hive? Why do you think Bitfarms is very linked to IREN and Cipher deal? Is it granted? Now Bitfarms is hiring for a site manager. The reason for that, I think, is because the sites that they have in Pennsylvania, those are really nice sites that they have. And if they can grow those megawatts in there also will help out. But yeah, I think it's just the sites. I mean, we saw obviously a lot of action happening in Pennsylvania a couple months back. I think that's helping, and then them getting the project financing as well is helping things out. Victor C, how much is Cipher going to increase capital and how? I seen that in the news. Cipher, well, they got the 1.3 billion in convertible notes, right? Part of that is going to be used obviously to build out. They still have some Bitcoin on the balance sheet there. They also have some cash. They have an ATM that they can still probably pull on a little bit more. So there's cash on that. And then if they're trying to get more shares for the company, they're going to be using the ATM, things like that. That's, plus from Bitcoin mining as well. SH says, thank you, Panther Creek. Yes, for Bitfarms, Panther Creek. Chris says, Seb, I remember tuning in when you discussed Bitfarms Riot share sell-off and seeing it drop to 70 cents. How quickly times can change. Yeah, I mean, we've been through it all. We've been through the good times and the bad times. There have been more bad times than there have been good times, but the good times are now with us, which is nice. Mike, yes, thank you, Panther Creek. DFly IREN, $1 trillion company on next 5 years. Ooh, $1 trillion company. We're only at 16 billion right now as it is. That would be, I mean, geez, if that was to fruition now, if I was able to hold on to it for that long, I mean, we're looking at possibly having my great-great-grandkids be set for life if that was to happen. But but you never know. I'd love to see that happen. See, Bitfarms price target raised to $7 from $3.25 at Northland. Okay, so that's kind of in line where I'm thinking, right? Between $6 and $10, somewhere around there. Chris, do you think many of these miners are front-running, given many of them will not reach their full revenue potential for 2 to 4 years? Meanwhile, they will be taking a lot of financial risk in the process. Well, this actually helps them out, right? So if they're using an ATM right now, that helps them by having to dilute less shares, and they're getting basically more for it right now. So now would be a good time to kind of pull on that ATM a little bit. Not too hard. You don't want to spook people out, but pull on a little bit if you can and raise some capital to build out even more. All right, cost of $7 is quite conservative. Bitfarms already hit $6 after hours. Did it hit $6? Yeah, you were right. DeFi, when is IREN earnings? This should be happening for them probably in early November, I'm guessing, just based on the timelines that we have seen in the past. Caprice, do you think Cleanspark will announce APCI news soon while the market is? I would hope they do. I don't know. We've obviously seen Matt be all over the place here. So maybe they are working on something. Maybe they're just finalizing some paperwork, crossing the T's, dotting the I's there. Who knows? MJS says, are you buying Hive? No, I'm not buying anything right now. As you guys know, I'm renovating the basement here. All the cash is going into that. And plus I got into these miners at much, much lower prices. So right now I'm kind of holding tight to see where we go from here. The Bitfarms, Panther Creek, yep, thank you. Zeno, I'm up 300% on Bitfarms. Where would you sell? That is up to you. I can't tell you when to sell. If you think it's going to go up higher, hold on to it. If you think it's not going to go up higher, sell. Right, that's completely up to you. I do think it's going to be going up higher. A lot of people here also think so. Right, so you got to do your own research on that. See where you stand. Is it, it's going to be up to you. Brian, what has Mara been up to beside buying Bitcoin? Well, enriching the C-suite there, right, by shareholders. They've been up to that. They've been growing, obviously, as well. They've been buying sites. They've been doing other things, but they just can't seem to get a good narrative going around HBCI right now for them. And maybe that will change in time. SH Bazinga article today said Bitfarms AI power play has Wall Street talking $12 next. Okay, that's awesome. WP, don't you think Soluna will shoot up after they build out like they're doing now? They might, but again, right? They're still probably under $100 million market cap, I think. A lot of the projects that they do are projects with another partner, so that makes it a little bit more challenging to see how they're doing. To really see, it makes it more challenging. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here on it, but it might. I'm not going to say no because we just don't know. It could, but we'll see. And just, I think in 5 years, Microsoft is going to be the ultimate winner of the AI space. Microsoft, you really think so? It seems like they're a little bit behind. I know they got Copilot right now, but Copilot is mostly OpenAI, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken on that. To be honest with you, it's going to be, OpenAI, you got Grok there, you got Google with Gemini as well. You got, there's other ones out there, Claude. There's another one, Perplexity is another one. There's quite a few of those plays here, but the one that's being they're all being aggressive, but the one I think that's being most aggressive right now is at least Grok, I think. Right, Elon's bringing in over gas turbines from overseas, from Europe or something like that. He's buying those up to put in to his data center so he can get those things as many megawatts as quickly as possible. And they built out Colossus 1 like in a matter of weeks and get it all up and running here, which even the CEO of NVIDIA said was very impressive. He's never seen before something like that done. So it's going to be an interesting race going forward for sure. All right, talked about that one. Victor C. Mike thinks there is high probability Cipher deal. Yeah, the way the price is acting on the stock, it seems like there's something happening there. Is there a new announcement for Cipher ATM? Somebody mentioned it also earlier. There might be. Let's take a quick look if we can find it up on SEC website. Let me pull this up really quick and we'll see together if there is anything for them on that. And then I got a couple more minutes and I got to run. Let me see here. Cipher mining. Okay, here we go. Browser, October 6th. I don't have anything new here. Latest filings. Current report, departure, maybe there's something in it, but I'm not seeing it here for Cipher, at least not right now. Definitive proxy statement. Let's see, what is this thing? If it loads. Securities, no fees, Cipher, special meeting of stockholders and, okay, proxy statement. So that's maybe part of that. They're going to be voting on it. Yeah, authorized for issuance from 500 million shares to 1 billion shares. Yeah, so there's going to be that. But it doesn't seem like anything for an ATM right now. All right, let's go back here, finish up a couple more questions. Talked about that one. What are your current fair prices for Bitfarms, Cleanspark, and IREN? IREN? I mean, geez. IREN, I think it should be valued even higher from where it's at right now, around $80, I think. And then if they provide us that they're getting more GPUs installed or something like that, buying more GPUs, then the stock can go up even higher than that point. Bitfarms, like I said, I think somewhere between $6 and $10. I mean, we could go as high as $12 here from what we're seeing. Cleanspark, I think somewhere between somewhere where we are right now, like $25 to $35, somewhere around there. At least in the short term, right? If we get some news, then that could obviously go up higher from there. All right. MJS says, looking back, IREN has had the best strategy for shareholders, especially selling BTC. It has worked out so far that way, but other companies like Cleanspark, Mara also have huge HODLs. They can deploy that capital there if they wanted to. All right, Tone, thoughts on BMNR, and should ETF double to 8,000? What price can BMNR be? I mean, they should follow, obviously, Ethereum price more or less. How much of a premium should they get on the MNAV there? I don't know. I say they should get maybe a 1.1 MNAV, to be honest with you. At a certain point, they might get it like a 1.5, 1.7, maybe even 2 MNAV, while Ethereum is running. Can Ethereum get to 8,000? That would be a double for it from here. I don't know. Right, I think maybe 6,000 to 7,000 will be dual later on this year, maybe on that one. And then BMNR obviously would go up based on that. All right, Sunblaze, IREN seems to be growing into a giant. Would it make sense to rotate Bitfarms and Cleanspark into IREN? It might, right? If it does become a giant, then yes, but we don't know that in advance. I would diversify. I mean, as diversified as we can be in this space already, being in all these guys. But I like to stay at least a little bit diversified just in case. I mean, I'm not saying anything's going to happen, but just in case. All right, let's see. B says, thanks for all you do, Sebastian. I'm up 200,000 in Bitfarms and holding. Awesome, that's awesome. Well, you're very welcome, and thank you for coming in. Neville, Cleanspark is not announcing a deal anytime soon. It won't just fall on their lap. Every miner who has made a deal or is about to has been putting in progress that we could see. Yeah, I'm not expecting a deal. What I am expecting them is to announce something about their ambitions for doing something similar to IREN's doing. IREN's, buying GPUs, getting customers that way. I could see something like that. That might be a faster way to provide some information on it. All right, Zeno, 30,000 shares of Bitfarms and 300% profit. Should I pull profit at $7? Again, that's up to you. Right? Is it life-changing money for you? If it is, that's going to be completely up to you. You have to, what your risk tolerance is. What it's going to do for you and your family potentially. So it's completely up to you there. Andre, Seb, out of the miners you follow, which is reporting first? Thanks. As far as reporting the quarterly results, the last time we saw, was it like Mawson and Riot came out swinging pretty fast there within 4 weeks of the quarter ending. So I think those would be the ones to watch there. And then IREN was also not too far away. IREN was a little bit further out because they had the end of year, which was obviously also had to be... you had the, what's the term I'm looking there? I'm drawing a blank on the term right now. Brain farts. I'm having brain farts today. They have to be, you know what I'm talking about. They have to be actually double checked by an accountancy firm there. All right. Mark says, don't forget how much NVIDIA did run Duo to AI. Yep. Miners can run quite a bit as well. I think so. Also, Thomas, Hive and Riot price target. Hive should probably get to around $8 to $12, I think, in the short term. Riot, if they get a deal for something like that, they could definitely go up to $35, $40 relatively quickly here from where they are also. Price target for Riot, great job, thank you. Yeah, $35, $40, something like that. Let's see here. It's going higher, Zeno. Yeah. Excuse me, that is going higher. All right, Victor C. Cipher, if Cipher increases, will that impact the upside? Number of shares, if they increase the number of shares, yes. Obviously, yeah. So it just depends on how much. Well, but the other thing you got to remember, if they currently have 500 million shares available to them that they can eventually pull on to get to that, right? They're at 380 or 390 million shares right now as it is. So there's still about 110 million shares roughly that they can pull on for the ATM. That would get them to about 500 million there. The next 500 million would be for the next possibly 5 years, 10 years down the road that they could pull on at that point. So it's not going to happen all at once. All right, as you know, let's see, Mara have the ability to ride AI hype? They do if they get into it, though. So Tyler, I don't know when they're going to get into it, but they definitely do have that potential as well. Victor, any miner still undervalued? Thanks. I think Bitfarms still slightly undervalued. Obviously Hive as well, Cleanspark. And then if Cipher gets a deal, which looks like they might get a deal because of the way the stock's running, IREN as well. Riot, to a certain extent, I think is kind of fairly priced right now without a deal. That's kind of where I'd be looking at right now, at least. All right, DeFi says Mike Alfred is very bullish in Cleanspark. Yeah, he is, which is a nice turnaround events because just a couple weeks ago he wasn't that keen on them. Ron, thanks for all you do. Seb, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming in here. Smitty, if Bitcoin hits 200,000, what do you think IREN, Cleanspark, Hive, and Bitfarms will be priced at? What has most upside potential with this happening? It's going to help them out, but I don't think they're going to be, at least right now, I don't think that that's what's pushing the stock on these guys here. We're seeing obviously the HBCI potential is what's catapulting these guys up. Bitcoin going up will help IREN, will help also Cleanspark because they are at 50 exahash here and others, along with Kango, right? Kango's at 50 exahash, Mara's at 58 now, 56 exahash, whatever it is. So all of these guys can definitely benefit from that as well as it does go up. That will help them generate more revenue, which should help them out. But we're seeing, obviously, the HBCI narrative push them even faster, even before Bitcoin runs. So how much of more of an upside from that? It will be helpful, but I don't know how much it will be helpful. All right. Okay. Gary says, Cleanspark is Mike Alfred's third pick. It is, yeah. IREN, Cipher, and Cleanspark there. DeFi Chardin Capital analyst James McRee maintains Cleanspark buy with a buy and raise the price target from 20 to 30. Okay, so more in line where I'm at. Zeno, if Bitfarms passes $10, I'ma need some diapers. A lot of us will probably at that point. Jordan, do you ever get into Cipher? Yeah. Did you ever get into Cipher? Yes, I got into Cipher earlier this year. Right, so sold a portion of Cleanspark shares and IREN shares where I was up nicely on those guys, and I got into Cipher at that point. That was another one that I saw would possibly run here, and it has. So on that one, I'm up 200% from when I got into it. Getting close to like 250, 280, something like that, percent-wise on it, which has done well from when I got into it. So I'm happy with that. But okay, we'll have to call it a day because I got to run here, guys and gals. Thank you so much for coming in here as always. We'll cover whatever happens tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get another miner to report as far as their operational update going forward here. And Sarah says, $100 IREN coming soon, Seb. I hope you're right. I would love to see it. I hope it goes even beyond that for all of us here. All right. Love you all. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Until then.